So welcome back to the ministry. We're on part 3 of this. And basically, as I was saying, she's in a bind right here. This is the inception of the problem. He makes comments towards her and is being flirty. Now, for one, it's a flirtation. It's very minor. She can't tell nobody about that. Because you tell somebody about that, they're going to be like, you just overreacting, blah, 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 blah. Christian woman, hello. Pay close attention to me. I don't care if the dude just mildly flirted with you. You better take that stuff home to your daggone spouse and let your spouse know. Because if you let your spouse know, they can intercede. 2, you don't look guilty because of the fact that you done told them already. Now, catch 22 to this situation. A lot of people think that if you tell the spouse this, the first thing the spouse is going to do is think you're doing something wrong. Now, let's take a moment to momentarily sidestep, because we getting into the dudes too. Remember the film Obsessed? Remember Sharon, the wife, and then the new liaison secretary, right? The husband had a few minor incidents with the secretary. Now, she's the temp, so on and so forth. He sees a few little moments where it's like, oh, she made a little flirtatious comment. I'm going to let it go. She stops sending the calls to him from his wife. He goes to try to tell her something's going on, but this is what the enemy does. Sends the wife a phone call immediately before he comes home to tell her. Pisses her off about the sister's husband cheating, thereby opening a ear gate or door for the wife to potentially not be receptive of what he's going to say. Some of your spouses, it may be a scenario where the enemy, and depending on how sharp your spouse's ear is, you come home saying, hey, there's a guy flirting with me at work. Depending on his past, he might be like, is he flirting with you, or is something else going on here? Because the enemy will always try to twist the scenario and start to get the man's mind, or whoever it is, whether it's wife or husband, to twist. Meaning, he's trying to put a wedge between the two of y'all. Which means, the second that you come to the realization there's a problem, you better start praying until you get to your spouse. Because that's when the enemy is going to try to bring in interference. Because if he can isolate you, that's the point. Bring you into a state of isolation that you feel like you ain't got nowhere to go. You understand what I'm saying? Are you following me? I want to bring back in why did I get married? Remember when what is it? It's the lawyer and Tyler Perry's character. When she was being not so much courted, but she was working with the guy, and the guy was flirting with her, and she was mentally open for the flirtation because she wasn't getting what she wanted at home. The enemy don't bring this kind of attack in until something is going on in your house. And if you ain't praying, the door is there. This woman ends up in this film, Temptations of a Marriage Counselor. She decides, let me change my makeup, because she wants to change her makeup because it's her birthday. So she does it so that her husband will recognize her. Her husband has no recollection. He don't even think about it. not even to mention, he doesn't even do anything for her birthday. Okay? That's another red flag. But what will happen is there's a level of distance between you and your actual spouse. In these times, it's very important that you get into a phase of communication. You must communicate your dissatisfaction with your partner. Meaning you must sit them down on a day when the two of you are free and talk. Do not let the opportunity to talk pass you, okay? Because if you keep letting opportunities to talk these things out pass you, the enemy will get into your head and the enemy will get into his head. And what will happen is y'all will start drifting apart because fear steps in. False evidence appearing real to get y'all separated. Do you hear me? Am I making myself clear? So, they start work, her and Harley start working together, and he's still ever so slightly pressing on her. She opens up to him now, coming back to the fact that they were working together in the evening. This man is drawing her time, that she's literally spending more time with this guy, not because so much of the work, but because the guy wants to spend time with her. You need to recognize when somebody is trying to mess with your space and your time. Create boundaries. This guy, yeah, he a client, but he needs to know, hey, I'm married. I gotta go home to my husband. This dude was sitting up there saying, oh, let's work late on this. Come on, we can be almost done with it. Come on. You need to not open yourself up to that. Then the guy starts talking to her about personal life. And she starts to address, as she's talking in the midst of what they're talking about, I want to be a marriage counselor. And he starts to like, oh, I really enjoy that. Be wary of people like this that are trying to not only get your attention, but become all of a sudden supporter of everything that you do. This person don't care about what she do. He care about getting with her. What did I say in the previous video? A man will sit until he gets what he wants. He will say whatever he need to say until he get what he wants. Okay? So he's sitting with her and he's like, oh yeah, you being a marriage counselor, that would be amazing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And he's giving her all of this advice, which thereby shows a level of support her husband was not doing. Okay. So, what else is here? He's way too interested in her personal life. And then he wants to challenge her faithfulness. And she goes back to her boss to say something about the way that he's acting. And the boss is like, oh, you're going to deal with the client, but I need you to understand. The boss done gave her a cardinal rule, and the assistant Melinda told her the exact same thing. Do not get involved with this man. Don't get involved. Why is it that when somebody tells you no, you have a tendency that's the very thing that you head directly into? Both of them warned her, don't get involved with this man. Don't get involved with this man. Be careful of getting involved with this man. And it's not so much that they're so concerned about her getting involved with this man. They done seen it happen before. 2, she's so naive because she done walked with Jesus for so long that she don't understand that these people have understanding. They've seen women get caught up like this before. It's not just a warning to be a warning. It's a scenario we know better than you do. Girl, listen. Don't you get caught up with old dude. He trying to set you up. We seen it before. Number one, they seen it because this dude has worked with them before. Probably the last girl that they had in there, he did the same thing to. Why? It's what he do. It's what he do. When a person is giving you a warning, heed the warning. Hello, I'm warning. Are you listening? Listen. So, what else? I need to make sure I'm not missing any other parts to this. So heed the warning when someone is giving you a warning. The enemy don't play fair, not by any means nor circumstances. Sorry, love you, but he don't. There is no fairness in his job. He's there to destroy. I told you in the previous video that I had the dream that somebody kept trying to burglarize a house that already had alarm system on it. Every couple of days, they would try to come back. This is what the enemy does. He tries to find an entry point. If he can't get you the first time, he's going to try to come back around again and get you a second time. He's going to try to come back around again and get you in a different way. How many times have I told you? He works from the eyes, nose, ears, mouth, and hands. What can you put your hands to? What will you speak out your own mouth? What your sense of smell? I told you about the smell thing the other day. What you see, your eye gates. What you hear, your ear gates. Mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, socially, and financially. He's coming for you. Any of these entry points, you may close door one to your finances. He coming through the back door, through your physical desires. Oh, you close physical desires. Let me come through the emotional door then. Oh, you done close the emotional door. Let me hit you mentally with some spiritual mental attacks. A lot of y'all under mental warfare right now. Have you not noticed it? I did. False evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. Be cautious. Be alert. Be aware. Be aware. And let's see. So what's going on? So she changes her hair for her birthday. At work, Judith receives flowers and believes that her husband sent them. Catch this. She thought her husband sent them, but Harley appears and notes her change in her appearance. 2. This is something, we on like 4 now, but this is something that a man like that will do. I already told you that he was complimenting her, right? So he's going to make notices of different changes in you. Spouse, not doing none of that. If you allow and take to heed the compliment, the enemy's going to use that to get at you. So she goes home, coming to the recognition that her husband has not figured out none of this stuff, meaning he didn't do nothing for her birthday. But Harley claims he's willing to do anything to be near her and wants a sexual relationship with her. By making the statement, you ain't had nothing to compare your situation to. This is a trap. It's a lure, okay? This woman ain't slept with nobody but her husband, okay? And this guy is saying, come on. What do you have to compare a situation with? How is this Let me just open this and leave it right here. She already got the scenario at home. Her husband ain't paying no attention. And this in itself is an issue. He's not paying attention. You better pray for your husband's attentiveness and apathy, against apathy, because men will get to a phase where they don't, it's not that they don't care, they just get busy doing other things and they not paying attention. This is why the 7-year itch is even an issue, because you get comfortable in your relationship. He ain't thinking about his wife cheating on him. He been with her so long, but in all that, he been with her so long, he's no longer thinking about her like this. They've been together since they were children. So I'm sure they started dating in high school. And now they're in their mid-20s and late 20s working. He ain't thinking about her like that no more. I'm sure when they were in puppy love phase, he was all over her. But now he's like, I love you, but we ain't thinking like this no more. You're going to hit points like that in patches in your marriage, just for the simple fact that life is happening. And you need to be able to, when you see these doors, pull it back. Hey, let me sit here with the Lord. And you're going to have your moments. Some of y'all going to be pregnant and you ain't going to be able to do nothing but sit in the room and pray, because it's like, what you going to do? You're either going to be dealing with morning sickness or you're going to be needing to rest because you're just tired because you're carrying a child. Great time to open up your Bible and pray for your marriage. Then you have the kids. You're going to have moments that you're going to need to go into your war room. War Room's a great film, because in War Room, the wife is praying over her spouse. There was another film I saw. It's like called Social Media Dad or something like that. And the wife does the same thing. She starts praying for her husband. And when she's praying, these times that she's praying, this is another reason why you need to pray for your spouses. Okay? Because of the fact that the enemy may be trying to infiltrate them right in the moment that the Lord puts an unction on you to pray. Oh, he went out to this place. And you're thinking, oh, he's there by himself. But at the same time, this is a place that he can interact with somebody, which can breed a scenario. In that movie, the guy's character, he had, he had a PR representative that was trying to help him with whatever it was that he was doing online as an influencer. And the PR rep was flirting with him. And she made a pass at him like, there's a room upstairs if you're interested in going up and having a drink. The wife started praying right then. In the movie War Room, the wife felt something was going on with her husband, and she had been getting advice from a praying woman that was a client of hers for real estate. And the woman showed her the prayer wall and all this kind of stuff. But in this particular moment, she sensed something was off with her and her husband. I'm going to tell you this. When I was in my previous relationship with who I was with, every time we got near breakup, I knew. But I also knew when he did something. Because I would get this sickening, sickly, suspicious, heavy discomfort in my body. And it was like spiritual thumping. Not my heart, my entire nervous system was spiritually thumping. And I'm like, what the heck is this? And my phone rang, and it was him. And this particular day, I didn't answer the phone. I was like, something's off here. Something's off here. And I don't know whether that was the first time we were about to break up or the second time we were about to break up. But I remember, I think it was the second time, and I was recalling the first. Exact same feelings, exact same sensation. 2 days later, he broke up with me. The day that I felt that, I feel in my spirit, he slept with somebody else. I'm going to just be honest. I think he slept with somebody else. And that was why I was feeling all that I was feeling that day. I wasn't a praying woman at the time. I didn't understand anything I was feeling. You feel something in your spirit, you better pray. You better pray. Which brings me to the note on not that easily broken. Okay? In not that easily broken, you had a married couple. I don't know how many years they'd been married, but the husband was going through a hard time. The enemy will bring attacks like this during a hard season. You're in transition. You're just figuring things out. In this movie that I'm talking about right now, Temptations of a Marriage Counselor, she just got this job. Her husband had a job. They trying to get the finances right in order to either get a bigger place or to get themselves established and get debts out of the way, all this kind of stuff. So the husband's thinking practicality. The wife's thinking about what she desires. And they're just at the beginning stages of their marriage. So, I mean, it's that understanding you just might not get these things in the beginning. But with this case, in Not That Easily Broken, they had gotten again to a stagnant point. And she complaining to her mama, please, 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 listen to me. You got problems in your marriage? Don't you dare go to anybody and start complaining about the problem. Because guess what? The more you complain to a specific person or series of people, you completely change their viewpoint of your spouse. And they're going to start to operate in a different spirit towards your spouse. Because you run in your mouth because you need somebody to talk to. Let me tell you something about what I do. I do not run to nobody to talk about my problems. I write myself a daggone prayer request and send it to the ministers that pray for me. If it gets to be a little bit stressful, let me write a prayer request. A friend of mine told me a couple of years ago, get you good 5 to 7 people that will pray for you. Either you get you 5 to 7 people that will pray for you, or go to ministries that have a trusted record of prayer and send them a prayer request to pray for you. That way, you got a circle of people covering you. You can send them the name of the person that needs prayer prayed for them. But you best to have some people covering you in prayer. Covering you in prayer. I know somebody that's a business person. She don't do a daggone thing. She got a person praying over her finances. She got somebody praying over her living situation. She got somebody praying over her family, helping her pray over her and herself and her family. She got somebody praying over everything. You need people that'll pray for you. Because you can't cover everything at all times. What did I just say? The enemy was trying to get back in the window that was already shut. He kept trying to burglarize the same place, coming through the back window, coming through the upstairs window. He kept trying to come in and always getting caught at the window. Never got in the window. Don't mean the enemy ain't going to try another route. He going to keep coming. You think you safe, he going to come the back way. Pay attention. Be aware of these tactics. So in Not That Easily Broken, the husband is now dealing with the situation where he works at a college or a high school or something. It must have been a high school, middle school. He works as I think he was the gym teacher or coach or something like that. And one of the mothers of one of the students, she's not talking to him as in I'm trying to talk to you. She just is a mother that's concerned about her child, and he happens to be the coach of the team. This is how the enemy positions problems before you. Your husband wasn't paying attention to that. He ain't trying to pay attention to that. It's a scenario that the enemy will leave that person sitting there. That as soon as there's a problem to open the door, he'll let it sit there. Sit here long enough. Eat long enough. Acquire the relationship. Think everything is innocent. Now something's going on in your house. Him and his wife were talking, and the wife was complaining about stuff. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. He's not doing that. And y'all getting at a distance point. Ladies, don't you be fussing this man out. There are things that your husband... Let me take this moment to say this. Your God-ordained spouse is still a man. 1. 2, when you come into these relationships, he has not been hit with the, oh my God, I'm Christian today. And because I'm Christian today, I'm going to do everything that my wife does. Meaning, I'm going to pray like her. I'm going to do this like her. I'm going to do this like her. I'm going to be just like her. These men still dealing with stuff. They're going to come into this relationship and they're going to have some baggage. They still going to have some mental thought on their head. They're going to still be dealing with the job that they work. They still going to be dealing with some things. And you may not get the, hey, come sit and pray with me, husband. Now, I'm sure they'll make an effort, but understand, the enemy's still going to be trying them, that they're going to be like, you can give them suggestion and the enemy will bring a distraction immediately when they're supposed to do it. They'll think about it and forget it. How do I know? It's somebody that I was working with to get something done. She would always, I tell her, here, this is something I need you to do. And she'd be like, okay, let me write that down. I'm going to write that down. I'm writing this down right now. As soon as I get off here, I'm going to do it. The second that we were off the communication, gone. Next time I got in touch with her, I'm emailing her. I'm reaching out to her assistants. I'm doing all of these types of things. It's nothing against her. I'm showing you how the enemy work. Because the enemy will immediately make the person forget. I was just about to do something. What was I about to do? It just slipped my mind. Oh my God. I was just about to say something. And you let it go. Some people don't realize that's warfare too. When the enemy doesn't want something done, he'll snatch it. He'll snatch the thought. He'll snatch the action. Some of y'all been waiting for the longest time for your spouse to call you. Every time they got ready to call you, I was about to do something. What was I about to do? Or they got a phone call to interrupt what they were about to do. Get off that phone call. Perfect example. Yesterday, I was about to walk out the door with my dad. He gets a phone call right when we're walking out the door. It was not good information. So his day went from okay to him stressing out. This is what the enemy does. He brings in interference. That's what I was saying about the movie Obsessed. The wife was sitting there. Husband was ready to talk to her. The wife sitting up there. My sister just called me and said that her husband cheated on her. They've been married for all of these years. I can't believe this. What is it that you said you wanted to talk to me about? It's not that important. Pray. Because that's going to be a point where the enemy is going to try to hit you. Communication. He's going to try to block your communication. And if you don't stay on top of that, that's the number one thing that you're going to have to keep at the top of your prayer list. That you and your spouse remain in good communication and good intimacy. Top 3 things that the enemy attacks in marriages: finances, communication, and your sex life. These are the things that are going to have to stay on the top of your list of prayers when you're praying. Okay? And with these little witches out here doing love spells and splitting spells and all kinds of stuff and praying against, you got to pray against apathy, because apathy is the person not caring no daggone more. Meaning they have no emotional feeling towards this thing. I've come to the realization, and some of y'all have come to the realization, you've been dealing with apathy Some of you, the Lord's been showing you over and over and over and over and over and over and over again confirmations that your God ordained spouse is coming. And you have come to a point of apathy where you just don't care no more. It's one of those, I care, I receive, I'm going to pray for it, but there's no emotional feeling in your chest no more about that thing. It's like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Whatever. Because it ain't happened yet, so I'm not going to sit here and dwell my emotions on this thing. I'm going to keep doing what I got to do. You're operating in a spirit of apathy. Don't let that happen. Door. Close it. What else? Let me get back in here. Ooh, this river looks so pretty. So we went through the birthday thing. She meets Harley again, and she gets a little bit upset with the fact that her husband missed the birthday thing, and she tells Harley, don't you ever, as long as you live, tell your enemy exactly what the issue is, because that's the exact thing that they're going to try to solve. And she know this dude was trying to hit on her. He said, you ain't had nothing to compare it to. So he's already sitting up there like, oh, she got a hole right here. Let me fill it. Don't you dare play that game. Nah. Hold on. We about to come right back. Because, we ain't done yet.